What makes a child seat safe is how an adult uses it. To make sure you're using your child seat right, see an Allstate agent for a free booklet.
A year ago, when I looked like this, you'd never catch me in a bathing suit. But that was before I lost 30 pounds in 3 months with Ultra Slim Fast. And I feel 10 years younger. And with bathing suit season here, if you start the Ultra Slim Fast plan today, a healthy, delicious shake for breakfast, one for lunch, and then a sensible dinner. Hey, when you put on a bathing suit, you might look as good as I do.
Ultra Slim Fast. Give us a week. We'll take off the weight.
On CBS This Morning, here's a look at your weather. Another brutally hot day is expected throughout the Southwest, where temperatures in Phoenix may for the first time ever surpass the 120-degree mark. In Las Vegas and El Paso, temperatures around 115 are possible. Look for thunderstorms around the Great Lakes.
Tomorrow, Grace Slick and her daughter China are going to be here.
Ira Flato is going to be along to talk about bugs, and we're going to go to a ventriloquist convention.
See you tomorrow.
Is it free speech or filth?
In my opinion, that's obscene.
The battle over sex and censorship. A special edition of 48 Hours, Wednesday at 10, 9 Central.
He's back. McCloud becomes the target of an international death squad.
McCloud's in trouble? McCloud's always in trouble.
Dennis Weaver, the return of Sam McCloud, Friday.
You're gonna flip, but look out for crouching cows, cagey cats, dancing ducks, whirling Weimaraners, rotund raccoons. A special preview, Primetime Pets, Monday, July 9th after Major Dan.
This is CBS.
If your air conditioner feels like this, isn't it time you called your Amana dealer about a high-efficiency, low-maintenance Amana central air conditioner? Of course, you can just ignore the problem with your old air conditioner. It might bounce back. Anything's possible.
DJ's Heating and Air Conditioning salutes David Williams Construction, New Creation Homes, ML Realty and Construction, and John Rose Construction for installing Amana quality equipment.
When the stranger brought that bullseye, a showdown was a brewing. There was open pit, hunts, and masterpiece, all trying to outdo him. But as the sweet smoke rose from the grill, the stranger showed his best. Knowing once folks tried that big, bold taste, that bullseye'd stand the test. And throughout the land, every woman and man marveled at the feat.
In showdown after showdown, bullseye can't be beat.
The big, bold taste of bullseye can't be beat.
Every kid needs a buddy, but she may wait years for that needed friend to show up. Think what might happen to her while she waits. Be someone's buddy. Join the buddy system. All it takes is some time to share. This message brought to you by Oppenheimer, Wolf, and Donnelly, committed to making our area a better place.
Can counseling save your marriage? On the next Oprah Winfrey Show.
We're pleased to welcome you back to, shall we call this, part 2, with a man who has, for the past 30 years, found himself at the center of American culture, and he's right there once again. You can't turn around without seeing the likeness of Dick Tracy, a movie that's doing very well at the box office, and a movie that, for the first time in his professional career, has brought Warren Beatty out from behind his Hollywood gate and actually talking to talk show hosts. Holy cow. Please give another warm welcome to Warren Beatty. As we say, we'll be back in just a moment.
25 years ago, they brought us a startling vision of the future. And now...
Help! James, stop this crazy thing! Get set!
They're back.
All right!
in their first feature-length motion picture.
Congratulations.
Universal Pictures presents Jetsons, the movie.
Right.
Rated G. Starts Friday, July 6th at theaters everywhere.
If you like nuts, you'll love the crunchy nut taste of Clusters cereal. Only Clusters has delectable little nut clusters no nut lover can resist. Almonds, pecans, walnuts, and honey crushed into little nut clusters and mixed with crispy flakes. So if you like nuts, you'll love Clusters cereal.
Uncle Lou, what do you think of that new Diet Pepsi? What, are you nuts? I love this new Diet Pepsi so much better than Diet Coke that I would rather you drop the bowling ball on my tongue than I don't have my Diet Pepsi. I'd rather have a rash that I can't reach. I'd rather my mother-in-law come back to life. Ooh, I would rather eat lint than not have my Diet Pepsi. You understand?
Yeah, you love the new Diet Pepsi.
What?
Diet Pepsi with 100% NutraSweet, the right one.
At Trim for Life, I lost 82 pounds. There isn't anything in my life that didn't change. Losing 82 pounds gave me total freedom. I have a zest and an enthusiasm for life now that I never had before. Yeah, now I'm going dancing. Yeah.
In celebration of our grand opening, lose all the weight you can for only $44. Call 1-800-654-TRIM and start losing weight now.
Let me chat briefly with Warren about movie making today. Mario Puzo says the way you negotiate with Hollywood is with a mask and a gun. You don't have a great, the people in Hollywood don't have a wonderful reputation for, here we have Artie Buchwald saying, come on, and winning, at least in court. Mm-hmm. Let me talk to you about your filmmaking. Are you proud of coming in on budget, or are you, how often have you gone over, and what's it like on the phone when you need another $3 million, and you got to have it, but you can't have it, but I got to have it? Am I creating a problem here that never existed, or kindly speak to that? The reported budget on Dick Tracy is $30 million. So in addition to performance, you have to worry about the expenditures here. Tell me about this.
What I'd say about that is I think we spend too much time thinking about what things cost. We're obsessed with money, how much money it makes, how much money it costs. But you can't blame a studio at a time. I mean, they got to eat too. Yeah, they got to eat, but I think they should take care of their eating, and we should take care of whether or not we like the movies, and whether we like the movies we make and the ones we want to see. And but don't you have a responsibility, however? I mean, you can't be a drunken sailor. I don't have a responsibility to the public. I might have a responsibility to the stockholders of a company, but even then I don't. I don't manage the company. I don't have responsibility to stockholders of the company. I wish that we would get out of this mentality of money, money, money. How much does it make? How much does it spend? I do too, Warren, but I mean, please. Why are you doing it then? Well, because, I mean, you cannot sit here. Here you are at work. Let me show you at work here for just a second. You cannot sit there and say, I'm an artist, I shouldn't have to worry about money. Come on, this is, you're talking about somebody's budget, somebody's profit and loss. You know, you're talking about the stockholders. You have a responsibility to the stockholders. I should give this speech to you. No, I don't manage the company. I don't have a responsibility to the stockholders. So when you call the CEO and you need an extra $10 million because this is the way life is, you expect to get it. No. If he thinks it's a good investment, then he'll spend the money. But I don't... by the way, sometimes it's helpful to have limitations. And you know, Disney's a very, very tightly run operation, so... but they were very cooperative. They liked the way the picture was going. And but what I'm trying to make a point here, which is, why are we talking about money? Why? Because you're one of the most important filmmakers in Hollywood today. Then let's talk about movies. You preside over multi-million-dollar budgets. Then let's talk about movies. Let's talk about themes. Let's talk about entertainment. Right. Let's talk about actors. Let me ask you this. Yeah. How many takes do you do? Are you famous for doing a lot of takes? I mean, is it like the artist painting has never done? Are you this kind of guy, or you say, okay, that's it, cut, wrap, we can't? Let's put it this way. I'm not famous for doing only one take. I see. Yeah. So you are a perfectionist sort of fellow. Well, I don't know if it's perfectionist. Maybe somebody else could say I just can't get my act together, but I do more than one take. Right. Now, it must be something when you walk into your screening. I assume you stand in the back. How do you do that?
When you have a test, you know, a screening, when you put your blood into this thing,
yeah. You mean when I show
got to
the
be
picture
scared to death. Your heart's got to be pounding like crazy, and you walk in and you first real live people watching this thing.
Well, you know, when you first finish a picture, you show it to, what I do is I show it to a few particular people whose taste and intelligence I respect and see if they get it. And then I show it to some more people and see if they get it. And I think there's only one way you can help a person really with a picture is to say either I get it, it's either clear to me, or it's boring. And if you tell me where it's boring or where you don't get it, you're a big help to me. Otherwise, I sort of have to make the picture, and you have to make your picture however you're going to make it. By the time it gets to an audience, I don't know. It's pretty much up for grabs. I mean, on this picture, I didn't. What I was very happy about on this picture is that it really did get to the family audience, and I didn't know for sure. I knew it would get to kind of sophisticated people, you know, and that they'd have an appreciation for what Madonna and Pacino and Hoffman and all of this, and also it's kind of a sophisticated look, and it's kind of a different kind of movie.
It's a great look. It's a great.
I knew that among, I hate to put it that way, but among sophisticated people it would be well accepted, but I didn't know if it would get to the kids. You know, it's a completely clean movie. It doesn't have any blood and four-letter words and all that stuff, and most of my movies do. So, so by the time it got that to those big audiences, there was nothing much I could do about it anyway.
Well, that's my next question. Yeah. I hear that they fixed, I hear that High Noon was boring. And the guy, I don't even know who directed it.
Fred Zinnemann.
Fred Zinnemann. They cut the clock in. Magic. Did you ever do anything like that? Did you ever screen a picture and say, holy cow, a fix here, a fix there? I mean, did you ever save a picture in this way? I'm asking.
I don't remember doing that, no.
Okay.
No.
Here's my next question. Reds was not Batman at the box office. It had to break your heart, did it?
Why would it break my heart? It was in what way?
Didn't you want it to be a commercially blockbuster?
Well, you know, I don't know if you remember it. People were very.
I'm not saying it died, but it didn't do what everybody hoped.
The money, I'd be kind of stupid if I thought a 3.5-hour movie about a communist who dies at the end is going to make a lot of money.
Oh, I would never do a show that I didn't think was going to go through the roof.
You don't mean that.
Well, maybe I don't. All right. I'll tell you something.
No, you don't mean that.
I'll tell you something. I would never work. I could never commit myself to the kind of work that had to be involved with Reds. A movie which was, in my opinion, wonderful, intelligent, brave, aggressive, and entertaining, absorbing. I mean, okay.
It's a good movie. Thank you.
But here's the point. You don't seem to be very comfortable in. You're here to say that you weren't disappointed that it didn't do $100 million.
First of all, the movie got its money back. I never thought that kind of subject material would be a big commercial winner. It is the only picture that was ever made about the development of the American left with a communist hero, you know, financed by capitalist money. The picture, I think, has a certain prescience about it. I think it was not filled with that paranoia about Soviet communism that so many people. It was not a picture for the Reagan years insofar as majority opinion.
Wonderful.
Well, I agree with you.
Okay. I heard you tell a story, and I'll tell you where I saw this. I saw it on the film tribute to George Stevens. Tell them about Shane. You go to see Shane. Tell them that story.
Well, that's a long story.
Make it short. You can do the short version.
The short version of that story is we wanted the gunshots in Bonnie and Clyde to be very loud. So I went to George Stevens and I said, what did you do? And he said, we shot these guns into a big tin can, and we did it, and we put them into Bonnie and Clyde that way. We were very careful to have the sound level be very erratic, erratic, excuse me. To be very high and low, Shane. And then, boom! No, in Bonnie and Clyde.
Okay.
Shane was made by George Stevens.
I know that, but you got the idea from him.
From Shane, I got the idea. George told me how he did it. So we had this soundtrack in Bonnie and Clyde that was very up and down and up and down. And I took the picture to London and I showed it, and there was in a huge theater in London, and it seemed smooth. It seemed boring to me. It seemed very boring. And I ran up about 8 flights of steps to the projectionist and was showing it to every critic in England because they look at pictures all in one screening. And I was, this was 23 years ago. And I went to the projectionist. He was very surprised to see the actor walk into the booth. He said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, it's the sound." And he said, "Kid," he said, "I want to tell you something. They really," and I want to use the word here, "they did it to you on this soundtrack at Warner Brothers." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, these gunshots are much too loud. Let me show you what I did." And he took me over, and there's a chart on the wall. And every time there was a loud sound, he turned the sound down, and when there was a low sound, he turned it up. So it was all smooth, and he said, "You know, kid," he said, "it's terrible what they do to you. I haven't seen a picture this badly mixed since Shane." Funny.
You worry right down to the projectionist light bulb, don't you, when you're...
Well, in those days, I worried more. Nowadays, this insanity of going out in 2,000 or 2,500 prints, it's just bedlam. I don't know how anybody... You know, in those days, you'd have a movie that was a little bit unusual. It would take time for the public to get to know the movie. Nowadays, if you come in with a movie that's a little unusual, like this one, you better go out and do some talk shows fast, because the picture's going to be not... I mean, we're faced with 10 billion sequels, you know, of things we already know. It's a little bit like fast food, you know. It's not that there's anything wrong with a hamburger, because my favorite food, if you got a good pickle, a good lettuce, and good thing. But there are other things. So today, it's kind of, I don't know that this obsession with making tremendous amounts of money. I'm very happy about the tremendous amount of money that this movie is making now, but I don't know that the obsession with this is a very good thing for adventurous, creative spirit in movies.
I don't think it is.
I think we're all much too interested in the money. I think that the cultural pages of our newspapers have now been practically amalgamated with the business pages. Everything, the people want to know how much it made, what's the second picture, what's the third picture, what's the fourth picture, and then they're more likely to see the one that's making the most money. I think that we're treating ourselves like sheep and not like people who have a cultural appetite for things that are new and things that are inventive, and I don't separate myself from it, but I'm complaining.
Well, it's interesting, though, as you offer us your thoughtful review of what's happening to movies. This was happening to our culture and to politics, if I could just slide for a second.
It's all demographics, in politics and in an art.
I'm not even talking about the soundbite here, which everybody agrees is a terrible thing.
Yeah.
But it's about, there's no room for any evolutionary acceptance. I'll give you an example. I can say this because he's certainly, I think he's an interesting guy with a wonderful future, and I don't mean to patronize anybody. Bill Clinton, the governor of Arkansas, he spoke too long at the convention, remember?
Yeah.
We had commentators out there saying it's over for him and the White House. Gone, good night, goodbye. You're stepping forward to say if you don't blow the town down in the first weekend or the second weekend, it's over for the picture. What? You know, what's happening here? I mean, we got to wonder who we're losing as presidential timber and what kind of movies aren't being made because you...
It's the same problem in art and politics now. It's completely money-driven. Lenin said they vote with their feet. It's demographically driven. We're not giving a chance for the truth to come out and for the minority to show the majority where sometimes they are right. This country was founded on respect for minority opinion, but we're not really respecting the minority opinion. We have such a shortened attention span that we want to go right away to statistics.
Well, there's another side to this. Saul Hurok, I think, said this. If they won't come, you can't make them.
Saul Hurok?
Yeah. If they won't come, you can't make them. How many times have I heard, you know, you weren't promoted, or, you know, or maybe... I can just see theater owners. I can't imagine facing theater. They got to be the most nervous people in the world.
Well, I got lucky this time because Disney really knows how to get out and make all kinds of merchandise and raincoats and wristwatches and all this nonsense, which I think is terrific because...
You like this terrific nonsense?
I'm very happy about it because the picture did open big like that, and now, you know... Right. But I think it's not a... well, I think we've got to look carefully at what we're doing here.
Mm-hmm. Now, just a couple of political questions here before we make our break. You'll understand our enthusiasm for probing your mind on these matters because you've been so close to Democratic politics over the past 30 years. You almost had McGovern choosing Hubert Humphrey as his vice presidential running mate following the demise of Thomas Eagleton in 1972, right?
Well, I think McGovern almost, well, tried to get Humphrey to do that, yeah.
But he did. Now, please, this is what? This is 28 years ago.
Yeah. Please, it's not 28 years.
18 years ago, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
18 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can tell us, you went to see Hubert, and you said, he said, I'll take it if you can get the Democratic National Committee to essentially say they want me.
Well, look, I don't tell...
What was in Vanity Fair magazine, I mean, I got to give them another plug here. Yeah. As you know, I'm a genius, but I don't know everything. I got this from this very, very good article about you in here. Go.
Yeah. I liked Hubert Humphrey a lot. I think he was a wonderful man, and I think that at that point in our political times, the Democratic Party was fragmented in a very unfortunate way. And I thought it would be great if the far left, or the further left of the Democratic Party could make some peace with what was Hubert Humphrey's side of the party, and it didn't work out.
But didn't you have the deal? And you went to see George, and he chose Sergeant Shriver. How did that happen? I mean, you had it on the... Oh, you're not giving me the drama, Warren. Come on, you know what happened. Tell them. It's interesting. There's no scandal here.
Love to make it interesting for you. I would love it if there was a sexual aspect to it.
Well, I would too.
I couldn't give it. I wouldn't give it to you because I don't ever... I don't ever talk
personal, and you don't want to talk about it.
Well, I don't ever talk publicly about what happens when people assume that something's private, so...
Well, but you talked about it at Vanity Fair. You like?
No, I didn't.
Was this a woman interviewed you? Maybe that's my problem.
No, I did not talk about that to Vanity Fair.
Well, they mentioned...
I didn't talk to Vanity Fair, by the way.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Well, you should be thrilled.
I actually liked the article. I thought it was a sad article, but it was kind of...
Right. Now, just one more question about 88. And 84, as a matter of fact. It hurt Gary Hart that he was your pal.
You think so?
Well, you do, don't you?
No.
Well, here you are, the biggest bachelor in Hollywood. The
biggest?
Well, certainly the most famous bachelor. However you may chuckle. You know, you've got all this. You can be photographed with several different women.
No. No.
Well, you certainly take people here and there. And
no.
All right, there are a lot of stories.
No, I don't.
Okay, Warren, how much are you going to make me squirm here? You're not going
as much as I can.
Well, wait a minute. Here's the point.
Yeah.
I don't have to give you a profile of the way that some voyeurs might see you as a guy who's, you know, with the girls, the young women. I don't want to be sexist about this. Here's the question.
Have I? Yes.
Have you? No. I won't. That was yesterday.
Have I had a pleasant life? Yes.
Okay, fine. Here's. It hurt Gary Hart that he was so close to you throughout the 70s, following the failure of McGovern in '72, with George McGovern managed by Gary Hart. You were pals. You liked him, and you spoke so highly of him. You're a loyal friend, no matter what happens. But you saw him frequently throughout the 70s and 80s, and when it came down to the crunch with Gary and whether he saw the guru and what kind of life and what kind of marriage did he have, people started remembering how often he saw you, and it hurt him. It hurt him. They thought you and he were, you know, were chummy and also perhaps not monogamous. That was the question. That was the point. I'm not saying I know it was or wasn't. It's not an accusation. I'm asking you to evaluate the perception.
That's the question. I think it's just all a bunch of assumption. It's a lot of baloney. So I mean, what?
It doesn't matter, Warren.
You don't think that?
No, I don't. I don't know. I have no Polaroids. I don't know. The point is the way. Here's the point. The political perception is what killed. The perception of his private life and his association with you hurt Gary Hart in 1980.
Then I have to come back again to tell you what I said before about the level of inaccuracy in the media, this perception that you speak about, the appetite that technology creates, and I can tell you that as a person who's been famous for 30 years, which is probably even longer than you have been.
Absolutely.
If I were to draw a graph of the level of inaccuracy in the media,
I don't doubt that.
It would go about like this in the 60s, about like this in the 70s, in the 80s it would go like that. It would go just like that. There's
inaccuracy.
Inaccuracy.
The last 10 years you really got
irresponsibility. 5 years, the last 2 years it's worse, in the last 3 months it's even worse than that. There's a reason for it, and we're all a part of it. It has to do with the nuclear, with the cellular telephone, the fax machine, the proliferation of cable television, infotainment, sell, money, 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 and the public is being fed a bunch of crap, and they're buying it, and I hope one day soon they will begin to buy things that are more boring, they will buy publications that do print the truth rather than publish the other, and that the technology will work our way out of it, and truth will triumph and love will conquer all.
Yeah, but Warren. Wow. You should have walked into the sword a long time ago. Your mystery, your hermit life, your inavailability, much of Michael Jackson's aura. This poor young man can't go out of the house is because he's so reclusive. We don't know. Come out, show us you are a human guy. You look okay. You play cards? Yeah, the point is, throughout all this being clobbered, why didn't you stand up? I mean, and let him.
Well, I am who I am, and I don't know. Maybe I'm just not fast. You know,
doing very well yesterday and today on the highlight of your career here on the Donahue Show. Warren Beatty stars in Dick Tracy, and we'll be back to allow you to question the man in just a moment.
This is Contour's Deluxe Model 535 chair. It's available at less than 50% of a Contour Granada's price. Like Granada, Contour's Deluxe 535 chair features the same special orthopedic design, just at the touch of a button, and comes with 2 built-in heat and 2 built-in massage units, so it may temporarily relieve low back pain and edema or swelling of the legs. But because it doesn't come in leather and it's not custom-made, it's less than 50% of Granada's price. That's right, less than 50%. Call a helpful operator to get full details by mail about Contour's Deluxe Model 535 chair. Hello?
May I help you?
I'd like to receive information by mail about all of Contour's relaxing chairs.
Right away, sir.
Pick up your phone and call now.
Call 1-800-228-3456. That's 1-800-228-3456. Toll free. Call 1-800-228-3456.
Mary Horton's talking.
Come on, Horton. Come on. Come on.
Ruffles. What?
Ruffles.
Ruffles?
Ruffles have ridges. He means the potato chips.
Ruffles have ridges?
Ridges are what make them so good. Ruffles.
Well, that's a funny thing to say.
Funny? It's printed right on the bag. Ruffles.
Yeah, but why can't he just say Mama and Dada?
Because that's not on the bag.
In Minnesota, we love a celebration. Introducing the Celebrate Minnesota lottery game. Match $3 amounts and win up to $5,000. The Celebrate Minnesota game. It may be our biggest celebration yet.
When he was born, the skin was just dangling off his hands and his feet.
We thought that her legs were dipped in battery acid. It was raw.
On the next Sally Jesse Raphael, imagine if you couldn't hug your child.
If I were to take her hand and just pull like this, you would literally rip the skin off in one piece.
The skin sloughs at just the slightest touch.
She overcomes the pain and does what she wants to do.
Children who can't be touched on the next Sally.
Tuesday morning at 9 on Channel 4.
To be part of the audience, please send a postcard to Donahue Tickets, care of NBC, 30 Rockefeller Plaza, New York, New York, 10112. Remember, postcards only, please.
Yes.
I just wanted to know if you ever regretted during that Barbara Walters interview.
Well, I enjoyed the interview. I talked to her for 2.5 hours. We talked on and on and on and on, and you know, I like her. I thought she was, she's a very good journalist, and when she cut the thing together, when she edited it, she used a certain kind of question that I just don't answer. So, and I like to be known for not answering that kind of question. So, it was just a bunch of pauses, which I thought were fairly funny. I thought that she tried to make me look glamorous or something, or unavailable in some way, and I thought she did herself a slight disservice to herself as a journalist, because she's a very good journalist. I think that's a sort of a, you know, infotainment. You know, it's not. It's sort of silly. Yeah.
But, Warren, for the last 2 days, you've been talking a lot about, you know, politics and right and wrong and stuff. Let me just ask you this. I've been a fan of yours, I mean, for me, just ever since Heaven Can Wait, which I thought was a great movie we haven't talked about. But you're also I'm a member of the Sigma Chi fraternity, and you're, as I know in the past, were in the Sigma Chi fraternity. But I wanted to ask you, a lot of stuff, there's been a lot of syndicated shows, a lot of people talking about how fraternities are now bad, and the alcohol problems and the rape problems in college campuses and things it's bringing on. How do you feel? Do you think you gain any good experience from it, or, you know, they should be maybe abolished?
I don't have altogether positive feelings. That was, as you can imagine, a long time ago in my life. There's something exclusionary about fraternities in colleges. I think that all of that, I'm not totally positive about that. I don't know. I think it sets up a lot of responses that aren't really necessary in the college atmosphere. But on the other hand, you know, very close friendships form out of that, and it's a sort of a big subject in a way. If I had to say what do I feel, basically it leans slightly to the negative, but I don't mean that about any particular fraternity. It's just that I don't know whether we should have that kind of thing in our schools when people are, you know, in a formative stage.
You are here quite legally to promote your movie. Legal? Yeah, well, I mean, that's how we do this.
I sure hope so.
And you know, you can't go to jail for this. And I'm pleased to share this scene with you. Here we go. Dick Tracy, you know, Madonna finally kisses Dick Tracy. I mean, I thought, well, he's human, this guy. But he doesn't feel good about it, it's clear. Dick Tracy, I mean, he's being, you know, it's tough. Madonna looks like, like Madonna. And his true heart, played by Glenn Headley, comes upon the scene. Watch this from Dick Tracy.
You're a good man, Tracy. And I want to do the right thing. Come here.
Hey, what's the hurry? Where's the fire? Throwing a ball in a trash can, is that supposed to be some big deal?
Tess, this is...
I know who she is. Hello, Miss Mahoney. You must be Miss Trueheart. Tracy's told me so much about you.
Oh? He doesn't know so awfully much about me.
Well, thanks for coming by.
We'll be in touch, Tracy.
Right.
Miss Trueheart. What a cute little boy.
I'll bet but she does some nifty undercover work.
I was just wondering if you thought of this movie as a comeback in any way. I liked Ishtar, and I thought the singing was great. But I was just wondering if you thought of this that, well, the first one didn't receive as critical reviews as you might have hoped it did, and think of this one and say, oh, I got to make one that's really good.
I agree with you. I think Ishtar was good. It's a funny little movie. I like it a lot. I think it was kind of mangled in its distribution. But I make so few movies, it's like every movie I make is a comeback. So I started making them when I was in my early 20s, comebacks.
Do you have any idea how many scripts you might read in a week? I assume everybody...
I don't read a lot of scripts.
Really?
No, I can't. It's a strange thing. I don't like to read scripts. I can read almost anything but scripts. But it's some sort of allergic reaction that I just come through the years. And the movies that I get really interested in are usually ideas that I've tossed around by myself or with friends. And so I don't read a lot of scripts.
Oh, you mentioned Shane before. Did you ever play any cowboy movies?
The what?
Did you ever play in any cowboy movies?
Oh, cowboy. I made a Western called McCabe and Mrs. Miller. Kind of unusual. But I haven't made a lot of Westerns now.
Yes, ma'am.
I also loved your movie Reds, and I wonder if you and your friend Jack Nicholson plan on working together again.
Well, I'd love to. I don't know, and I think Jack would probably like to do it too. But you know, you go along and you see what happens. But he's a great actor.
Sir. I would just like to tell you that I saw Dick Tracy. I loved it a lot, and your directing was excellent.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do you plan on making any movies with your sister at all?
Shirley? I'd love to make a movie with Shirley.
Yes,
it's interesting.
Better say that,
yeah,
family.
Well, no, when you know somebody that well, there's an old axiom that character is plot, and I know her very well. She fascinates me, you know. I'd like to do it.
I saw the behind-the-scenes look at the making of Dick Tracy, and the word super real came up. And then when I saw the movie, which I enjoyed very much, I noticed also the monochromatic use of the colors, and I thought that was just incredible and really true to Chester Gould's. And I wanted to know, how did the idea develop? I thought it was very inventive, quite incredible.
Well, you know, I wanted to do a movie that was kind of, had straightforward, simple values. I wanted to make a movie that was a good family movie. I wanted for kids to be able to get it and still to have it perceptible on a kind of a sophisticated level. And I figured if I had people like Pacino and Hoffman and Madonna and all these people, Mandy Patinkin and Glenn Headley and Charlie Korsmo, that I was safe on the cast, and I wanted to have in the color, since the comic strip it deals with sort of straightforward emotions. You think either good or bad or evil and goodness, and so I thought it was a nice thing to use the primary colors that were used in the comic strip, and it sort of evolved out of that, and it is fun to look at. And yeah, thanks.
Yes.
As a filmmaker, you do a lot of pre-production on a film and a script, and you have sort of a certain vision already planted before you start your shoot. Yeah. What didn't you get that you had planned to get, and what maybe as the film turned out in the final cut, what maybe were you wanting to have in this final cut that didn't end up in the final cut?
I got lucky on this one. I got... The people that I worked with are so good that I got more than I intended. So I can't think of an instance where I got less, but they're the best, great people. So, particularly in the casting. To me, it came out a lot funnier and a lot more entertaining than I had realized that it would for me. But I'm a guy sitting there looking at my own movie, so I don't know.
What's your opinion of Vice President Dan Quayle as a politician?
What do I think of him as a politician or as a well, I think that he's underestimated as a politician. I disagree with his politics, but I think that he and I don't know Dan Quayle. I don't really. I think that people make too much fun of him, and I think that you know, this is a cyclical thing, and I think that that what goes down goes up, and at a certain point that he will probably surprise people. I'm not altogether happy about that because I'm a Democrat, but he seems like a decent man to me, and I think he's treated mainly not completely fairly in the press. I think you know, I don't think the press is completely fair to him.
Of all the comic book characters you could have recreated, why Dick Tracy?
Dick Tracy, to me, was the granddaddy of it was the old classical American cartoon person, and it's the guy that I started to read when I was about 5 or 6 years old, when I was just beginning to read, and he was straightforward. I knew where he was, I knew what he felt, and he was an honest, he was a good man, Dick Tracy, and Tess Trueheart was a good woman, and the kid was good, and the bad guys were bad, and
these people were all pretty darn swell.
They were pretty darn swell.
Judging by your previous statements, you really don't get into the hype scene too much, or you don't agree with it. Before you made the movie, or at least after you did, were you told, or did you expect that you would have to go through this whole circuit of talk shows and hype?
See, I enjoy this. I like to talk to people, as you might be able to see. I don't approve of this. I don't approve of movie publicity, because I think you should see movies on their own without some actor out there taking all the attention away from the movies. But this is the way we do it nowadays, because things happen so quickly. And I'm really quite grateful to the Disney company for creating all that hype, because it's been a tremendously successful financial opening, and everybody came. I never thought that they would, honestly, because it was a very old-fashioned comic strip that I thought people had sort of forgotten about, and I make a movie once every 30 or 40 years, so I'm very happy with the hype, and I enjoy doing this.
Yeah, but it's almost a contradiction in the sense that, like with Reds, I don't know what kind. I mean, it was a good movie, but Phil talked about the fact that it wasn't well accepted.
And why didn't he plug that?
Why didn't he plug that? Or were you told you had to plug this one in a different way?
I felt about Reds that the messages in Reds and the themes in Reds were much more subtle than these, and that it would have to survive on its own. And if I got out in front of it, then the negative anti-communist, anti-left people would give. It just would have been, I thought, bad. The movie also could only run once a night, and I knew that gives you, to begin with, half of what you can make on a movie. You and everybody is much too obsessed with how much money movies make. I wish we would all shut up about the money.
So how much did Dick Tracy cost? Charlie Korsmo will join us in a moment. The Kid, you're gonna love this young man, and we'll be back in a moment.
Every morning, they go to work. Over 10 million phone cards from U.S. Sprint. The only card that gives you 100% fiber optic sound quality and rates that are always lower than AT&T. To get yours free without changing phone companies, call 1-800-877-4000 now. The Sprint phone card. Yours free for a limited time. Call now and get the hardest working card in the world.
Recently, when I became deathly ill, I was able to summon an ambulance, my next-door neighbor, my family, and my doctor without picking up a telephone. I used this remote control to contact Life Call, my 24-hour emergency medical response service. Watch. You just press this button and speak into the air and...
I'm having chest pain.
I'm calling paramedics and your family, Mr. Miller.
I've fallen, and I can't get up.
We're sending help immediately, Mrs. Fletcher.
See? Protect yourself with Life Call, and you're never alone. To get complete free information by mail about this affordable medical emergency response system, call toll-free now. Life Call can save your life, so call to get free details by mail right away.
For free information about Life Call, call 1-800-624-9800. That's 1-800-624-9800.
Keeping fit and staying health-wise may be your best defense against the changing pace of the 90s.
WCCO TV's Ann Schieber is dedicated to helping you better understand medicine and your health.
I'll provide you with the latest information so you can be sure you're doing what's right for you and your family. Looking at health and medical issues so you can be a better health consumer.
Focusing on health. Our commitment to news for the 90s. News for you. WCCO TV's award-winning I-Team has received yet another honor, the prestigious National Edward R. Murrow Award for Investigative Reporting in Television. The award was presented for Is 911 in Critical Condition?, a series of reports exposing problems with St. Paul's emergency response system. Because of this series, life-saving improvements were made in St. Paul's faulty 911 system. The WCCO TV I-Team, making the commitment to be your news for the 90s.
If you watched us yesterday, you've already met Charlie Korsmo. If you've seen Dick Tracy, you've met this young man and been witness to his extraordinary talent. Here's an 11-year-old 6th grader from Minneapolis. Let me take a moment, Charlie, to say that you had been in this was not your first movie.
No.
You were in
Men Don't Leave.
Men Don't Leave. You sure were.
Not many people have heard of that. So.
Well, that's all right. Listen.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get out there in the talk show circuit on these movies. This is, and Warren had you over. Your mom and you went over to see Warren at his place, and he kind of auditioned. You wanted to know if you could...
Yeah.
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 He wanted to know if you could get angry and all that stuff, huh?
Well, I don't know. He just
yeah.
He did several things. That's the only one I can remember.
Right. Now, this has got to interrupt. How's it going at home, oh boy? I mean, just...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's nothing because of me, but my mom just got remarried and there are 4 new kids, so...
Wow. Well, that sure does...
yeah.
Well, that'll... See, the question I had to do was, now that you're a big shot movie star, you know, I wondered...
Okay.
Well, your mother... but we are doing a show on the blended family, so we'll have to talk to your mom, you know, get her out here. But, you know, the guys in the neighborhood that you hang around with, boy, they must be, you know, must be interesting.
Well, actually, there's no one in my neighborhood who... Well, there is. Forget that. You know, I don't get special privileges in my house or anything.
Right.
Our house.
I just wondered how your buddies are responding.
Oh, they think it's okay. You know, they just ask a lot of questions.
Right.
But other than that, I hope they treat me normally.
Yeah. Now, you got some wire on your teeth, not unlike a lot of people your age.
Yeah.
Now, do you... well, obviously, I can ask you because you got a great-looking set of choppers there, so this is obviously a minor correction. You didn't have you had to take them off for the movie, right?
I didn't have them. I just got
you got them after
I got them this January. So,
yeah. You doing okay with it?
Well, they're not as good as not having them at all.
I know what you mean.
You know, but they're working.
Yeah, and brush every day, I hope, a couple times, huh?
Several.
Yeah. So, well, you got your life pretty well defined for a 11-year-old. I guess you're pretty much thinking about this as a career, huh?
No.
Oh.
No, no, actually, just probably until I get out of school. Because that's one of the main attractions, getting out of school.
Yeah, I'll say it is. So what would be your professional ambition, if any?
Well, probably not acting, as I said. More likely just because he wants me to be a director. I don't know. But that's not very likely either. Sorry. Probably something more like an inventor or something, you know.
An adventure. So, you mean
inventor.
Oh, an inventor. Yeah. I see. Okay.
Yeah, adventurer, sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
The ears go first, maybe second. While I'm here in the company, did you want to ask? Yes.
Yes, I have a question for Warren.
Sure.
You have so much fame and success. What do you value most in life?
The ability to be interested in things and the thrill of telling the truth and my friendships.
What would you say your favorite movie that you've made?
That I've made, at the moment it's Tracy because it seems to, I don't know, it's the one I just made. But I like this picture the best because I think it's a sort of a family movie. It seems to get to everybody, and I like that.
Right. Warren, I'm impressed that you're not overwhelmed with scripts, or you certainly could be if you wanted to be. Let me ask you this.
I said I don't read them.
All right, you don't read them.
Yeah.
Now, what is extraordinary about your career is not only the movies that you've done and the Mr. Box Office. I think you once had a cover on Time, King of Hollywood or something. And you do have power. I mean, all you did was get Madonna, Pacino, Dustin Hoffman. You got Charlie.
Well, he was in some new article. He was rated the 45th most powerful person in Hollywood. 45th. Or was it 47?
Where were you?
I wasn't up there.
Yeah. You were not on the
No.
Uh-huh. Well, that sort of deflates my question, but here's the point. This is extraordinary. You should enjoy it, and this is a softball. I'm pitching you underhand here. How much do you read, and do all your ideas come from your own friends? And how open are you to, if anybody could make the movie to sell, as you did with Reds, John Reed, what other John Reed white guy that you can play out there could become maybe more important in a historical context if he was if your attention was drawn to him? What biography out there haven't you read? This is my question. And do you think in those
terms? I read biography, I read books, I read periodicals. I don't read scripts. I don't like to read scripts. It's just some peculiar allergy that I've developed. And I like to make movies about things that I'm interested in, but I don't like to make movies about movies. And for me, if I keep running from movie to movie, I would make, I think, movies about movies. So I'm interested in a guy named Howard Hughes. Have been for some time. He's sort of the other extreme politically and temperamentally from John Reed. John Reed was a completely integrated social personality. Howard Hughes was really quite alienated. So that's a biography, and I hear music.
Yeah. The music says to you, very gently, that it's time for us to take a break. It says to me, more harshly, get off, turkey, we're long, and we'll be back in a moment.
Can you guess how these people got rid of over 900 pounds of excess fat? It's easy. They used Calban 3000. Just look at some of the results.
On the Calban program, I lost 5 to 7 pounds weekly and have lost over 100 pounds so far.
I lost half of my body weight. Old friends don't even recognize me. In just a few short months, I've lost 65 pounds and 10 inches from my waist. I feel like a new person.
Calban 3000 has no dangerous stimulants or chemicals, no harmful side effects, and it's absolutely guaranteed to work or your money back.
Started to lose weight immediately and lost 70 pounds overall.
I used to hate to wear revealing clothes. Now I love to.
Hi, I'm Deanna Hall. Just before the Miss World Model Contest, I looked like this. I used Calban 3000 to lose 35 pounds in 5 weeks and won the title.
After losing 50 pounds and getting slimmer, I noticed that my attitude was changing. I felt better about myself.
How does Calban 3000 produce these amazing results? Scientists believe Calban bonds with food and blocks the absorption of calories, especially those from fats.
I went from a size 22 to a size 8. Thanks, Calban.
Can you believe I used to weigh 252 pounds? Calban has changed my life.
Most of my life was spent overweight, but now I feel positive and in control of my life, thanks to Calban 3000.
Calban's given me a new lease on life. I know I'll never be fat again.
If after 3 weeks you don't see a significant weight loss with no loss of energy, simply return the empty container for a full refund. Why not order right now? You deserve the dramatic improvement in health and self-confidence that comes with a trim, attractive body. Call 1-800-365-4600. 3-week supply, just $19.95, plus $3 shipping and handling. Or order a 6-week supply for $38.95 and get this 48-inch strand of Chinese faux pearls absolutely free. Save the COD fees by using your MasterCard, Visa, or American Express. Call now, 1-800-365-4600. That's 1-800-365-4600.
Your marriage is in trouble.
It seems like, I'm doing all the giving and you're doing all the taking.
Oh, no, Mark, no, wait a minute. You want to go to counseling, but your husband says no way.
I don't think that a counselor will help us at this time.
Do you think she's using this therapy as a crutch, though, Mark?
I do. I think she feels like she needs an objective point of view.
It helps.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Will it be a fight to the finish? Counseling Crisis on the next Oprah Winfrey Show. Something to see.
Tuesday at 4 on Channel 4.
Yeah, as you know, Warren is here promoting Dick Tracy, and he's in the company of Charlie Korsmo. With very little time left, we did spend a lot of time, and I seem to gush over Reds, and I did, and I will again. Please look at this. How long ago was the film?
About 10 years.
10 years ago.
9 years, 10
Here's the end of the film. Toward the end of the film, Diane Keaton thinks John Reed is dead, and she's at the train station. I mean, this is as good as you get, in my opinion. Come on. I mean, where is this romance in today's film? Watch this, and watch the direction. Come on. Got the Oscar. Real neat, kid. Real neat. Boy, it sure beats. You know, the way they make love to them is like a demolition derby. I don't believe these people. Well, yes, is that it, 10 seconds in this segment? But I've got a real long question here, and I was hopeful to have it. You can't cut me off. It's impossible to cut me off. Warren Beatty's here. You can't cut me off. We'll be back in just a moment.
Guess why I call my Polident the Big Clean?
Does a big job on denture stains.
Right, but Polident's bigger than that. It fights denture odor in a big way. But Polident's bigger. It fights stains, odor, and tartar. Trust the big mouth. Give Polident the Big Clean.
This summer, take the long way home. Run through a sprinkler. Relax with a good old-fashioned taste of country time lemonade. And take summer slowly, one sip at a time.
If you or someone you love has been seriously injured in a car or motorcycle accident, the results can be devastating. At times like these, you need an attorney. Call the Injury Helpline. Talk to an attorney near you for free. One who will explain your legal rights and costs. There are no attorney fees unless you receive payment for your injuries. The insurance companies have attorneys working hard on their side, and so should you. Call 1-800-533-2700.
If you think ticks with Lyme disease only bite in the forest, think again. Today, birds and mice can carry ticks and the crippling effects of Lyme disease right to your own backyard. No one can promise complete protection from Lyme disease, but Deep Woods Off contains DEET, the most effective tick repellent your family can wear. Remember, Lyme disease can be serious, and Deep Woods Off is serious tick protection.
Wanna give yourself a treat? You want a taste that can't be beat? Have a little sunshine. Sunshine. Have a bunch, you can have it all. you have no cholesterol, have a little sunshine. Sunshine. Just about every cookie and cracker Sunshine makes has absolutely no cholesterol. Now what could be better than sunshine? Have a little sunshine. Have a little sunshine. Have a little sunshine.
For a transcript of today's show, send $3 to Donahue Transcripts, 267 Broadway, New York, New York, 1007, or call 212-227-READ.
I don't want this to end, Charlie, without our having thanked you, and my best to your mom, and congratulations to her on the marriage. And
I'm sure she thanks you.
Fine.
You've been talking so much in the movies. How did you like singing on the album?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I liked it. It's fun. I was flattered that she asked me to do it.
Yeah. Is there anyone you haven't worked with that you'd like to?
Oh, a lot of people I'd like to work with, but I don't get in that list game because then it's dangerous.
Someone will feel left out.
Yeah.
Did you want Madonna for the role? Did you choose her originally?
Yeah. Madonna.
Charlie, are you going to do any other movies?
Probably, yeah.
Probably, sure. Let me get this one.
It's going to be a movie director.
Yes, sir.
Is it true that Ronald Reagan was asked to play Prune Face?
No.
Is it true you thought the script of PT-109 was lousy, and John F. Kennedy came up to you and said, you were right, it shouldn't have been made? Is that a true story?
He just said, you were right, kid. That's all he said. But I didn't think it was lousy. I said I shouldn't do it, and that was it. And he said, you were right. And that's...
When can we expect another Warren Beatty film?
How about next week? How much time you got?
I don't know.
You really don't know?
Well, I may act in a movie this fall, but, you know.
Yes. What haven't you done that you would like to do?
You mean in movies?
Service is provided and promotional fees paid by the following. Dulcolax has it. The other leading laxatives don't. Only Dulcolax has a comfort coating designed to protect your stomach. Comfort coated Dulcolax.
I love Baskin-Robbins.
You'll love new Baskin-Robbins Light in our fabulous flavors. We guarantee it, or you'll get a cone free.
The Drake offers an exciting weekend in New York at a special price. The only Swiss hotel on Park Avenue. For reservations, call 800-DRAKE-NEW YORK or 212-421-0900.
In Hawaii, there's always a breeze. Every garden has a bird of paradise. When the sun stops shining, rainbows come out, and life is fresh and sweet. Which is why Hawaii is the only place we grow sugar cane for C&H, and why everything you bake with C&H is fresh as it can be.
C&H, pure cane sugar.
C&H, fresh from Hawaii.
Some of why I lost weight was I didn't want my daughter to view me that way. I wanted her to be proud of her mom. Jenny Craig helped me to lose the weight, and they taught me the skills that I needed so that I can keep it off. Words cannot express what Jenny Craig has done for me and for my life, and to say that it's thoroughly changed my life is not enough. Mama looks great.
Now you can. Lose all the weight you want for only a $97.50 service fee. Call The Connection, 922-9000.
Dairy Queen announces frozen yogurt made in a special way. We start with non-fat, cholesterol-free frozen yogurt. Add your choice of fruit or chocolate. Then blend it all together, fresh for you. The result is a delicious way to treat yourself right. Try our non-fat blended fresh frozen yogurt. It'll be a big hit. That is, if our blender holds up.
Zomerfest. For tickets, call 371-5656.
I'm glad to see you. We have something we want to talk about today. We have some guests who have never hugged their children really tight the way you and I can. Not because they don't love them, by the way. You see, if they touch their children in the wrong way, the children's skin can literally fall off their bodies. There are about 5,000 people in the United States who have this. The children suffer from a rare genetic disease. It's a disease which doesn't have a cure, and in some cases can be fatal. Teresa Nugent says when her daughter was born, the legs looked like they were dipped in battery acid. Her skin had really ripped away from the body. Today, Kristen is 2 years old, and her mother says her condition is not getting any better every day. It might be getting worse. When Arlene, Passar's son, was born, 70% of his skin was missing, and the doctors told Arlene,